The Senzo Meyiwa murder trial has been postponed to next week. The defence for accused one, Charles Mnisi, that's the defence lawyer, told the court he was not ready to proceed today, despite a two-month postponement. The case was meant to resume at the High Court in Pretoria this morning after hitting a snag back in February. Linda Mnisi is at court for us for an update. Linda, Charles Mnisi saying even after 2 months, he is still not ready to proceed?
Absolutely, Michelle, and I think it's important to go back a bit to understand how we got to this point. To recall that after the passing of Thulani Mngomezulu, who was representing accused number one, there was a bit of time that was given to accused number one to appoint a legal representative. And some of the things that had to be considered at the time was saving time, amongst other things. But also, you'd recall that he raised issues around finances, which he said were running dry, and that necessitated legal aid to step in. But the whole point of appointing Charles Mnisi was, amongst others, to save time. On the 3rd of February, Advocate Charles Mnisi came back to court asking for more time to prepare for the defense of Mnisi Sibiya, and he in fact said he needed a little bit more time, and would be ready if granted that opportunity. But the court instead gave him a 2-month postponement. This is the rest of the term. The term had just started, so the first court term was given entirely to him to prepare fully for the representation of accused number one. After those 2 months and a couple of weeks, he comes back to court, and this is what he had to say.
I'm not ready, my lord, to proceed. I'm not ready, my lord. Otherwise, if I had to come here and tell the court that I am ready, that will be an injustice to Mr. Sibiya. I underestimated the amount of work and the amount of documents that I had to be content with. But the work that I needed to cover was just too voluminous, my lord.
Well, the court, Michelle, asked the state what it made of this request for a further postponement, and the state seemingly telling the court that, it has been in contact with Advocate Mnisi, who's been requesting for court transcripts every now and then of certain dates, and could confirm that he was indeed hard at work, but also pointing to the fact that there needs to be a balance given the fact that the lead investigator, Brigadier Bongani Ginenda, has been on the stand for quite some time, and therefore a balance needed to be struck. The court remarking that Section 35 of the Constitution, although it speaks to a fair trial, the same needs to be extended to the state. He in fact denounced this request for a further postponement, and this is what Judge Rata Mokgwatleng had to say.
It surprises me an advocate who's experienced as Mr. Mnisi can't read 40,000 pages in 2 months. Please. Surprises me. I'm going to accord the final postponement. And if you're not ready on this postponement, then your client will have to intercede on your behalf.
Well, the court saying that it's going to give Advocate Mnisi the rest of this week to finalize his preparation, and if he's not ready by next week Tuesday, then he will have to continue with the trial. In fact, the judge saying that he was even scolded at some point by the judge president, asking how he could give somebody over 2 months to prepare for a normal murder case. And he says there is nothing mysterious about a murder, and he knows this based on the experience that he had. But despite a further week that he's been granted, he still says he will not be ready, and in that case threatens to pull out. Take a listen.
If the court is saying that I should come next week ready to proceed with the matter,
why not?
Then I'm going to request that I be excused from representing accused number one, because I can't do that.
You can say that on Tuesday.
Michelle, this of course is a blow not only for the Meyiwa family, who's been waiting for over 10 years to get justice for their son's murder, but also for the accused who are waiting to hear their fate in this matter.
So Linda, just to be clear, you know, if the lawyer is saying that if he's going to be made to come back next week and be ready to proceed, that he wants to be excused from representing accused number one, what are the options here?
Well, if he pulls out of this matter, Michelle, it's then back to square one, because it means it's now the ball is now in the court of accused number one, who has to now go and find legal representation. And that means if he chooses somebody that is not amongst the lawyers, that lawyer would still need time to go through what we know now to be the over 60,000 pages of the court record and familiarize himself with this case in order, of course, to be able to continue with representing and defending accused number one. It could, of course, mean a further delay to this particular matter. But of course, the judge saying that if he intends on pulling out, then he will place that on record next week, Tuesday. So at this point, it's unclear on whether or not he will pull out or continue with the preparation, Michelle. But for now, there is a delay, and that it really risks a further delay in this particular matter.
Certainly does. Even more delays for the family.